Hey people, this video speculates on a change to WoW PvP competitive scene and the idea of solo queue for rated battlegrounds. Now I am a bit lazy with editing, so just watch videos of me trying to play Fury Warrior getting ready for Battle for Azeroth, because apparently Fury Warrior is the shit, and unfortunately my beloved arm spec is, still the same, which isn't bad, but kinda annoying. Use this video to listen in the background while you're leveling an ult or something, cause yeah, like I said, it's not really heavily edited, so... Now, with an upcoming 6v6 bracket for rated battlegrounds and the streamline of honor levels, we are seeing some similarities to Overwatch. Now, I'm not saying the entire PvP scene will be made just like Overwatch with a quick match button and all that shit. But could Blizzard be changing the competitive scene of PvP from an arena kill-all match into scenario teamwork based scene? Now we know in arenas it involves major coordination with your team to line up offensive CDs to try to get the enemy team to pop defensives and then line up further offensives to finish the job. A very similar style of PvP with games such as League of Legends, with the mentality of you pop this move and I'll use this move to counter. Now this kind of gameplay will always be present in skill or ability based PvP games no matter what. But with the added notion of objectives to win the day and not kills, it does change or affect the way you would play against the opposing team. Now some can argue that League of Legends does have an objective, to win by destroying the tower thing at the end. But if you look at it, it is kind of based on killing, because you can't exactly get to that tower without being forced actually to fight your opponent. Games like Guild Wars 2's structured PvP has this element of objective first, where even if you have good PvP skilled team members, if you're not coordinated enough, you can easily lose a game. Now it's happened to me quite a lot of times. Now same thing with Overwatch. It has this objective first element to it. Now I don't deny that killing the opposing team helps a lot, like a shitload, but again, at the end of the day, if you don't coordinate yourself as a team and not play that objective correctly and precisely, then you will lose. Now from the current scene of WoW PvP, from our point of view, a lot of players would rather do team-based PvP over the arena style. Now this perspective comes from me just hopping around from PvP guilds to PvE guilds, and even just seeing a lot of comments on, random forums and YouTube videos. It seems like only the fully hardcore players aim to conquer the arena, and for me that kind of makes sense from a lore point of view and even a gaming perspective point of view. Okay, what's the difference? What will the 6v6 rated battlegrounds bring that the arena style competitive scene right now doesn't have? I would say more participation, easier entry into the PvP competitive scene, and a more varied team comp. Now I say easier entry due to not needing the heavy knowledge of other classes compared to the arena scene. I'm not saying you don't need any knowledge at all. In terms for beginners, it's easier for them to join a 6v6 rated team and just try it out and learn from there. Now it'll also bring varied comps, and what I mean by that is allows more classes to participate and have a good chance. Unlike arenas, there's only some sort of top tier comp that dominates. Now the same thing will eventually happen in 6v6, but at least there'll be more variety of comps. It's 6 different classes, and well, not different, sometimes maybe the same, but yeah, just that more slots to fill. Now there are some things that won't make sense with this idea of 6v6. One would be the amount of maps available for the current selection of BGs. Now, it kind of is an easy fix. If you guys seen the Brawl events where the 6v6 idea I think originated from, there's only about 3 or 4 current maps modified for 6v6 already, and it's an easy fix. You can make more maps. Also, other things that might, break the whole 6v6 idea, certain classes would dominate, such as Demon Hunter tanks and healer monks would be very highly sought after in my opinion, and yeah, we'll probably dominate top tier charts in terms of, like, if you're gonna have a top tier team, you're gonna at least have these 2 classes 100%. Now the only way I could see it fixed is probably nerf the classes a bit, but obviously you can't do that. Another way to combat these higher tier comps is, well, solo queue. Now, There is a negative to this. One of them would be the whole idea of tanks and healers having priority and quick queues and all that stuff compared to DPS. But to be honest, that's pretty much, in my books, okay. Like, it's been the norm for looking LFG when it's been introduced since forever, and it hasn't really affected the game in that sense. And apart from, you can gear up a tank faster, you can gear up a healer faster, but it's like a social norm, so it is what it is. Now when it comes to solo queue rankings, obviously you just have them in a separate bracket compared to the pre-made 6v6 kind of bracket. Like, that's just an easy fix. It's like, that's a lot of arguments against solo queue, is, how will it fit with the other ranking? Just separate them, it's not hard. Now, I've always liked the idea of solo queue. I don't know why a lot of people are against it. For me, if it has a separate ladder, it should not affect ranked pre-made groups at all. Another argument I can see that will leave ranked pre-made groups empty, and everyone will just be doing ranked solo queue. Now, to be honest, yeah, I can see this happen, but maybe the way to counter this is make ranked pre-made 6v6 have more enticing achievements and titles and rewards compared to solo queue. Also, the idea of solo queuing and queuing up and you're joining a bad team. Now, like, you don't have any control. Basically, if you join a bad team, you join a bad team. This problem will probably only occur during lower ratings. So let's say you're battling from 0 to trying to get to 1.500k rating. In that bracket, you'll probably have a lot of issues where you join a team and a lot of bad players, a lot of new guys trying to learn the ropes, trying to learn the competitive scene. Most likely, once you pass the 1600 mark, that's when you're queuing up with a lot of people who, similar rating as you, and obviously wanting to push harder, so they'll work a lot better. Unfortunately, it'll probably bring a lot of nerd rage and typical gaming scene environment, which you can't do much about it. I mean, that's up to the discretion of the player. If they're a bit of a nerd rager, blames everyone else but themselves, or if you're the team player who tries to support the team, teaches the team at the same time, wins the game. But it is what it is. Solo queue will also allow an easy entry for new players and PvE players to dabble into the competitive scene, which leads to a more active PvP scene for World of Warcraft, which it desperately needs. And it also helps people like me who has, who's time restricted in terms of gaming time. I know for myself, any game I play, I'd like to dabble in the competitive scene, and solo queue for World of Warcraft will allow me to have that competitive scene edge and still play at my own time. But yeah, that solo queue will definitely help in the 6v6 rated battlegrounds idea. In general, I think solo queue really just works really well for rated battlegrounds. I can see why it probably wouldn't work for arenas, but I don't know how Blizzard hasn't jumped on the idea of solo queue for rated battlegrounds. Thanks guys for viewing the video. That's it. Like and sub if you haven't. Please comment below on what you guys think. This is just a speculation video and an idea video really, so it's not set in stone. I'm not reacting to anything, so